Opening. Rose Bowl disaster. The episode opens in the climactic final moments of a major college football game. Russ Holiday is about to cross the goal line and win it all. But at the last second, he drops the ball. His foot is in the end zone, but the ball is not. He celebrates prematurely, only to realize he hasn't scored. In the disastrous fallout, Russ loses his composure. He confronts a fan or parents of a fan on the sideline. In the process, he accidentally pushes over a man and a child in a wheelchair, a boy with cancer. The incident becomes notorious. That night, the scandal escalates. Media, public outrage, and Russ's image collapse. He is ostracized. His football dreams seem over. 8 years later, a fallen star. Flash forward 8 years. Russ Holiday is living a very different life. He's separated from the public spotlight, grappling with regret, and attempting to regain purpose. He works with his father, Mike Holiday, who is a prosthetics makeup artist in Hollywood. Russ helps deliver prosthetic masks makeup as part of his father's business. One day, while doing a delivery to a film lot, Russ passes by a large billboard featuring Mrs. Doubtfire Robin Williams. The visual triggers something inside him, the idea that he could disguise himself and reinvent himself. The idea, becoming Chad Powers. Inspired, Russ takes materials from his father's prosthetic shop to build a disguise, wig, facial prosthetics, makeup, etc. He plans to adopt a new identity, Chad Powers, so he can try out again for football without the baggage of Russ Holiday's reputation. Meanwhile, the South Georgia Catfish college football team is holding open tryouts. They lost their top 2 quarterbacks to transfers, so they're looking for new talent. Russ sees opportunity. If he can pass as Chad Powers, walk on, and perform, he might reclaim some of his worth and have a comeback. Mascot, tryouts and conflict. Russ's disguise is not perfect. He tries to avoid situations that could expose him, showers, close scrutiny, getting too real. At the tryout site, Russ as Chad bumps into Danny, the team's mascot. Danny initially mistakes him for a threat, thinking he's an intruder, but they eventually connect. Danny becomes an early ally. He helps Russ with the disguise, offering tips, adjusting his prosthetics, and encouraging him. Also in the tryout environment, Ricky Hudson, assistant coach, and daughter of head coach Jake Hudson, observes Chad, i.e. Russ, with suspicion. She senses something is off with Chad Powers, his weirdness, inconsistencies, and odd behavior. The coaching staff is under pressure from Trisha, boosters, finances, to improve the team. Open tryouts are meant to produce standout talent. Meanwhile, assistant coach Dobbs is involved in selection and evaluates the incoming walk-ons. Breakthrough Intention. Russ as Chad struggles early. His prosthetics slip, he falters, he hesitates. He even considers quitting. The ruse seems too fragile. But Danny pushes him to persist. Stay. Show what Chad Powers is made of. That encouragement helps Russ regain composure and start making plays. He begins to demonstrate athletic skill and spark. The coaches are impressed but puzzled. Chad seems inconsistent, odd, perhaps showing signs of a head injury, to explain his weird behavior. They're unsure whether to trust or reject him. At one point, Russ as Chad is invited by Coach Hudson to his office. The coach asks why Chad plays football. Russ, struggling, says, "I don't know who I am without it." This emotional admission resonates. Coach Hudson says, he can help solve the paperwork, the registration problem. Russ need not worry about that now. Closing and hooks for future. The episode closes with Chad Powers, Russ in disguise, accepted as a walk-on, given approval to proceed as long as he can produce registration documents, birth certificate, transcripts, etc. But the tension remains. Russ must now continue to maintain the disguise under pressure, prove himself on the field, and manage suspicion, identity, and the cost of hiding. The stage is set. A disgraced former star disguised as an underdog, trying to redeem himself under a false name, with allies and adversaries already in place. If you liked it, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Recap of Chad Powers, Season 1, Episode 2 Inches Second Quarter. Chad Powers S1E2, Second Quarter, Recap and Speculative Highlights. Setup. New challenges and identity tensions. The episode opens shortly after the events of Episode 1. Russ Holiday, disguised as Chad Powers, has been accepted as a walk-on at South Georgia Catfish. But now, the harder part begins, competing for the starting quarterback position and maintaining his disguise under pressure. Early scenes show Russ as Chad arriving at the Catfish's lake house coach's retreat where incoming players and staff gather for an informal barbecue, team bonding event hosted by Coach Hudson and his family. This gathering serves both social and athletic evaluation purposes. Russ is nervous. In prosthetics and disguise, he must conceal his thinning mask edges, avoid unmasking in close conversation, and deflect any questions about background paperwork or identity. Tryouts and competition heat up. On the field, Chad is pitted directly against other quarterback hopefuls. The coaches run through drills, passing, footwork, game simulation, reading defenses. Chad shows flashes of raw talent and instinct, but stumbles in some timed drills due to tension or minor slip in disguise. Danny, the mascot, Russ's secret helper, continues to assist Chad behind the scenes, touching up makeup, adjusting wig, helping him slip away when suspected, offering quiet encouragement. Danny becomes a critical ally in maintaining the illusion. Meanwhile, assistant coach Ricky Hudson is shown scrutinizing Chad's performance. She senses that there's something off, inconsistencies in his style, an odd accent slip, or perhaps body language that betrays experience. Her suspicion increases gradually, though she does not yet act on it openly. The coaches hold private meetings. Coach Bird and Coach Dobbs debate Chad's potential, considering his raw abilities but questioning his unknown past or lack of established credentials. Identity strain and personal conflict. Away from the field, Russ, as Chad, struggles in personal moments. He accidentally drops a slip of paper, nearly revealing something, or someone asks about his hometown, transcripts, or prior stats, topics Russ must dodge with humor or misdirection. At the lake house barbecue, Chad mingles with players, staff, and boosters. Some players tease him as new guy, and Chad must act natural, deflect banter, and avoid revealing too much. A close call might involve him being asked about his school era, where he played, or how he trained, questions he must answer vaguely. He also interacts briefly with Ricky in a more personal exchange, perhaps they talk about football, life goals, or what drew them to the game. The interaction is friendly but edged with tension, as Russ wonders how much Ricky suspects. Coaching and strategy decisions. The staff holds strategy sessions. They review film of Chad's drills, compare him to existing QBs, and debate giving him more reps. Some coaches favor giving the walk-on a chance, others warn of risk. Chad is asked to run a scrimmage play during the barbecue event in front of key boosters and alumni. It's a low-stakes play, but public. Chad's performance here is critical. If he fails badly, it could cast suspicion or derail his candidacy. Russ, as Chad, gives the play his best, connecting with a wide receiver, showing pocket awareness, and making a throw under pressure. It isn't perfect but impressive for a walk-on. The crowd's reaction is cautiously optimistic. Conflict and crisis. During the barbecue, someone, perhaps a booster or journalist, casually mentions Chad Powers' background, asking, "Which college did you come from?" Or, "Hometown." This creates an awkward moment. Chad stammers, gives a vague answer, and quickly changes topics. At the same event, Russ's father Mike Holliday may call or visit, or dispatch someone, pressuring Russ to ensure things are going well. Russ must accept the check-in call without drawing suspicion. Doing so while pretending to be Chad adds internal stress. A side subplot. Another QB hopeful tries to test Chad's limits, goading him in front of others. They push him physically or verbally, trying to fluster him. Chad nearly loses composure but manages to respond with wit and resolve. Cliffhanger and setup for episode 3. At the end, Chad is called into Coach Hudson's private office. The coach commends his bravery, creativity, and solid play in the scrimmage. He tells Chad he has earned some trust, and the school will fast-track verifying his eligibility paperwork. However, he cautions that scrutiny is coming, and Chad must keep his head down and work harder. Meanwhile, Ricky, after seeing Chad perform, has a lingering look, pensive and suspicious. She wonders if there is more to him than meets the eye. The final shot might show Russ alone in a locker room or dark corridor, touching his prosthetic makeup, staring at himself in a mirror, wrestling with doubt, How long can I keep this up before someone sees through me? If you liked it, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Recap of Chad Powers Season 1, Episode 3, titled, Third Quarter, Spoilers Ahead. Third Quarter, Recap and Key Beats. Opening and Sideline Tension. The episode opens with Russ Holiday, in disguise as Chad Powers, running through the woods while listening to audio from his failed Rose Bowl game, a reminder of how deeply the past still haunts him. Then we cut to the Catfish's home opener game against Ole Miss. Chad is sidelined as backup, holding a cup for Jerry during a break, watching the team struggle on the field. On the sidelines, Chad and Ricky Hudson bond. Ricky shares ideas about play strategies and frustrations with how she is undervalued by the coaching staff. Their conversation reveals deeper respect, and hints at mutual understanding. Coaching tension and injuries. The game grows tougher. The Catfish are trailing. Jerry, the starting quarterback, is inconsistent, struggling under pressure. Ricky presses Coach Hudson to put Chad in, arguing Chad has better instincts and deserves a chance. But Hudson resists, partly out of fear that Chad may fail, partly due to loyalty to Jerry. In the midst of that, the team loses headset communications. The broadcast radio system goes down, delaying the start of the fourth quarter. This breakdown gives Ricky and Chad extra time to argue their case. Turning point. Chad gets in. In a dramatic twist, Danny the mascot intervenes. He deliberately trips Jerry, causing him to get injured and unable to continue. This forces Coach Hudson's hand. He must put Chad into the game. Once Chad is in, he leads a drive down the field, showing poise and determination. The game becomes his proving ground. With little time and pressure mounting, Chad makes a bold call. Ignoring the coach's original play, he audibles to Ricky's play, the one she had advocated earlier. The play succeeds. The Catfish clinch a comeback win. Aftermath and emotional beats. The crowd erupts. Chad's teammates rally around him. But rather than celebrating on the field, Chad breaks away to find Ricky. Their eye contact and silent acknowledgement speaks volumes, he credits her. Meanwhile, coaches, staff, and boosters react with shock and awe. The victory demands new respect for Chad, and new questions about identity, trust, and who Chad Powers really is. Themes and character development. Redemption and second chance. Chad Russ finally gets his moment. The episode is about proving he still has what it takes. Trust and respect. Ricky is validated. Her coaching instincts, often ignored, lead to victory. Their bond deepens. Risk and identity. Chad's decision to override coaching calls shows confidence, but also raises risk. If he fails, exposure is more dangerous. Power dynamics. Coach Hudson's resistance to change, Ricky's struggle as a female coach and coach's daughter, and Chad's outsider status all collide. If you liked it, subscribe to my YouTube channel.